to allow Srija Pal to enter. I request the host to please allow Srija Pal to enter. She's trying to enter, but the host is not letting her in. Am I audible to you? A very good evening to all dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all my dear students. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Augusto e-Career Fair organized by St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur and Shamnagar. I'm profusely elated to take this opportunity to welcome our guest speaker for the occasion, Mr. Ajay Singh, live from London. I welcome our respected President Ma'am, Mrs. Janet Gaster Chaudhary, and CEO Sir, Mr. Amitav Chaudhary. I also welcome Mrs. J. Biswas, Principal, St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur, and Reverend Rodney Borneo, Principal, St. Augustine's Day School, Shamnagar. I would especially like to welcome the governing body members and the managing committee members of our school, and also the parents and guardians of our students who have joined us to witness today's program. Thank you everyone for giving us your precious time and joining us today to make this event successful. A career fair is an open field of guidance, consultancy, and exploration of multiple career options for students. The benefits of career fairs for students include direct interactions with professionals, expert guidance, brochures, interaction with universities, career counseling, and many more. The importance of career fairs for students also include learning about own skills, about new options, and about new skills that can help them to get a new job when they plunge into a bigger competitive world after their school life. Understanding the importance of guiding the students to choose a correct career for themselves, St. Augustine's Day School has taken this novel initiative, which will surely prove to be a blessing for the proud Augustinians who aspire to enlighten the world with their merit and skills. The Augusto e-Career Fair gives students a positive start in their career search, as well as valuable skills for future career searches. It is an event that makes our children ready for their future, strengthening them to deal with every challenge confidently. Now, I would request Mrs. J. Biswas, Principal of St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur, to share a few words with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, Barindra sir. Good evening to all the parents of classes 8 to 12, St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur, St. Augustine's Day School, Shamnagar. Good evening to the eminent dignitaries. Good evening to today's resource person, and good evening to all my colleagues. Barindra sir has already given you an introduction to career fair. So I will make it very short because I know you are eagerly waiting for the session. So now, students from Shamnagar and Barakpur, suppose we take it this way, that every year, 12 lakh students all over India appear for medical, 10 lakh appear for IIT, and 1 lakh appear for CA. Now, do they all get, the medical students, a chance in AIIMS? Do all children appearing for the IIT get a chance there? What happens to the children, those who appear for the CA? All of them get a chance? So if they do not get a chance, then what to do now? The next thing you can do, and all of the students can do, is look for an alternative career path or look for the other good colleges. So, and thus, for this reason, to look into the alternative career paths for you, and also to give you an introduction to other good colleges, the career fair arranged by St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur and Shamnagar. I feel this is one of the most crucial initiatives that we have taken for our students. Now, the next question which comes to our mind is for which classes it should be open. Now, I read somewhere, research says it can be from class 2 onwards. It is very surprising. But career fair is not only about execution. Career fair is also making you decide which subjects you will go for. So keeping that in mind, class 2 may be too early, but we have decided to start it from class 8 to class 12. Now, when a class 8 student will go to the career fair, they will have a different objective. When a class 12 student will enter a career fair, they will have different objective. When a class 8 will be entering a career fair, they will look into the different careers and they will decide which subjects they will be taking in future. When a class 12 student will be entering into a career fair, the student will decide on the execution plan. I have selected a subject. I can go for these careers, but how? So class 12 will look for an execution plan. Students, remember one thing, if we choose a wrong career, we remain very unhappy. We today spend 50% of our time in our working place. So suppose you make a wrong choice, what happens? You remain very unhappy. So it is very important that you take a decision with proper information. Now, what is also important is the psychometric test. We just had a session from 3 to 4 about the diagnosis. Now, what is a psychometric test? It is like visiting a doctor. It tells you your strength, your weakness, and it also tells you, according to your strength and weakness, which subjects you can take. Today in this forum, I take this opportunity to read some of the comments of the students who went through psychometric tests last year and before that. One of the students named Promita Sengupta, ISC batch 2021 says, psychometric test helped me choosing my right path and what should I pursue in my future. Lipika Khandelwal, ISC batch 2021 says, the test said that I should go for law or journalism, so I chose law. It was helpful. Atrey Roy, ISC 2021 says, the psychometric test came to help as I scored more in administrative part. So I decided to go for UPSC and serve in the administrative service. So it really helps students. So I hope you took your points from the session which you had from 3 to 4 o'clock. Now, another very, very important point which makes me very happy is that being online this time, we are getting speakers from all over the world. I start with Mr. Ajay Singh, who will be from London. So we also will have Dr. Sukanya Sengupta. She will be speaking on geology from Germany. And I will take a name now who is an ex-student, and we are very proud that the alumni members, they are coming and speaking to the existing batches. Anirban Mukhopadhyay. He is an alumni of our Shamnagar school, and he will be handling information technology live from Virginia, USA. We have Mr. Arnob Roy. He will be talking about CA from Gurugram. We have Mr. Ankur Chatterjee, solid physics. He will be live from Poland. So this online career fair helps in all this. You are meeting the best of the industry, and they will be speaking to you from all over the world, from different parts of India. So students, you have only one life. Choose the career properly. Happy learning to all of you. Over to you, Barindra sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words. Now, may I request Reverend Rodney Borneo, Principal of St. Augustine's Day School, Shamnagar, to share a few words with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I believe that it's a pleasure for all of us to listen to Shubha Miss as she speaks straight from the heart and directly to the point about why this career fair is so relevant. For me, as someone who has not yet completed a year at St. Augustine's, as I reflect back on all the other schools that I have been before, I feel our students are really privileged, and therefore they should be taking this opportunity. I really wish, and I'm sure that they indeed are taking this opportunity very, very seriously, and also with a sense of gratitude, because I can share from my experience that there are not many schools that go ahead in not only ensuring schooling, but also ensuring the future post-schooling of their students. So I believe this is something quite remarkable. And my own personal view is, look, I want to tell the students that broadly they could fall under 3 different categories. And I'm especially talking about those in 11 and basically those in class 12. For the others, it is a source of great information, and they can store it and mull over it and draw facts later to actually act over them. But for those who are in 11 and 12, there could be in 3 different brackets. One group that says, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yet, students, those who are in that bracket, this career fair is important for you, because I wish from my heart that you gain success and fame in what you have already decided that is going to be your career. But to know about how others make it where they have made it helps you to be a much better collaborator, because the world today that we are living in does not rely on sole island-like existence. We are all interdependent. And to be able to correlate with your fellow successful friends in the world, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to know what it takes to reach where someone would like to be. The second group of people would be, I have 2 or 3 options before me and I'm oscillating between this. So let's take an example. Somebody wants to be a restaurateur because they watch cooking shows, and somebody else is fascinated with being a civil servant, and they are like, the same person thinks that I can do both. I can either probably start a restaurant or I can become a civil servant. But then an opportunity like this will help you decide the common ground. Common ground. Don't compromise on your dreams, but find the common ground, because ma'am was talking about plan B. Chuma ma'am was talking about a plan B. So helps if you know so many other alternatives also. And finally, there are those who say, look, I'm quite undecided. Let's wait for my board results. That will see where I go. But then you cannot go wrong with this career fair, because you know n number of avenues, alternatives, which are all viable. And we have, as ma'am has exposed, we've got experts, not only from India, but from all over the country, all over the world, talking to you about what brought them to the level of success which they have achieved. So having said this, I would once again thank everybody who has put in so much of effort in making this career fair possible for our students at Barakpur and Shamnagar. And I want to wish you all the best. God bless you. Stay strong, stay safe.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. Now the much awaited time has finally arrived. It is time to begin with our first talk session. I would request our school captain, Srija Pal, to formally introduce our respected guest speaker for the occasion, Mr. Ajay Singh. Over to you, Srija.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. I am Shrija Pal, the school captain of St. Augustine's Day School, Barakpur. I welcome all of you to the Augusto e-Career Fair 2021-22, and the topic for today's event is aviation. Dad, aeroplane! A kid pointed towards the sky with his forefinger. Seeing an aeroplane in the sky, a rush of excitement used to wash over us as we waved at it and wondered what exploring the vast sky feels like. If you have always been inclined towards a career in which you can soar higher towards the depth of the sky, then aviation is the industry that you must explore. And with this, I take the opportunity to welcome and introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Ajay Singh. Mr. Singh has flown to almost every country except for New Zealand. His total career of flying time is more than 15,000 hours, which is equal to almost 1 year and 7 months non-stop. Mr. Singh's broad industry experience includes aircraft acquisition, MRO auditing, finance and regulatory legal compliance for international registration. Being a true leader, Sir is focused on creating a positive travel experience for all clients, brings in-depth knowledge of international and domestic operations along with superb problem-solving skills. A flight captain with more than 27 years of experience, Mr. Singh currently works as the chief pilot and head of operations at United Phosphorus Limited, Mumbai, Maharashtra. We feel extremely honored and privileged to have you here on this platform, sir. Now, I request the audience to keep their questions ready and put them in the chat box as Sir finishes his address. And now, the wait is over. Having wished you a very good evening again, sir, I welcome you in today's program. Respected sir, I request you to share your valuable words with us. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Dear all, good evening to you. My name is Captain Ajay Singh, and a heartiest welcome to all the faculty members, the team members, and the dearest students. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the introduction, Srijat, and I hope you all are safe and keeping well. Let me start. Let me start by a small story. How I got into this thing. So, like I said, every child has some ambition or some some dream that they want to pursue, or they want to take that up as a career, whether it be doctors, engineers, get into flying, etc., etc., or a sports person. And like Madam Principal had discussed earlier, it is very essential to uh, to go ahead and find the right job or the right career path. Uh, and it might not come that early, it might be later on during your schooling period. But as long as you find it somewhere along the line, you should be fine. So I will discuss the story. So I was a young child, and I used to live by an airport where I would see these airplanes flying over and all the time. And I wondered how glamorous and nice it would be if I could, get to fly them. And as I started growing up, I I started pursuing this as a hobby, and making small airplanes, and started building airplanes, and uh, started flying them. And then I just was just totally enamored by the whole learning, and by the whole way how an airplane worked. And eventually, um I took a path into aviation, and I've never looked back ever since. Having said that, there are there are certain there are certain fields in education you need to pick, or certain subjects that you would need to pick that are required. For essential, you would, if you're thinking of a career in aviation now, if you were to get licensing and to learn how to fly, you would need basic mathematics. You would need basic physics, which are prerequisites in your high school. But does that mean that people who don't have maths and physics cannot fly? Not true. They can also fly. However, after they finish their 12th class, there is a open school kind of a system where you can go ahead and do those particular two subjects, and pick up a career in piloting. Now, I don't want to bore you with all this long presentation I have. So as far as the motivation is concerned, you must find it early. And I tell my son, and I tell everybody that wants to get into this career, that I have never worked a day in my life. And because I'm so passionate about it, I'm doing it almost for 30 years. I'm so passionate about it that going to work is like going to play. I mean, it's just amazing, amazing, amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and share something with you, and just to give you an outlook of what the current aviation industry is doing globally, and then I'll also share what it's going to be doing locally, and what the opportunities are in India, and then we'll take a quick Q&A. If you hang on, I need to go ahead and figure this out, as I'm not too good with the. Can somebody help me share? I need to go ahead and do a PPT. Can I share my screen? Share content.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
The host will give you the permission to do so.
Yeah, if they do that, then I'll just quickly throw a slide on, and then I'll just run through that slide where they all can understand how the aviation industry is growing, even though we have this pandemic for the last 2 years, and what has gone down and what has gone up, and how the passenger mindset is. And basically, it is a great career to be in, and the opportunities, especially in India and the Asian region, are huge. So let me just put this on and show you. In there, I still don't have the share the screen icon. Anyway, I'll just start, just give you quick pointers. So, during the last decade or so, we've had a tremendous renewal process in the aviation industry, and that is due to a couple of reasons. They have the technologies that have come into place that have reduced the routes because of technologies and satellite coverages. You can fly to direct places. You have more efficient engines being made. So I would really like to get this presentation on and show you. It's very interesting. Is it possible to get that?
Sir, no. The share screen option is there on the screen. If you could just scroll down, okay. I think you'll be able to get it.
I got whiteboard. I'm scrolling down. I have photos, iCloud, Dropbox, Microsoft.
If you open the Zoom app, you'll find the share option. One logo will be there. You just need to click that.
Here. I'm sorry, Rinder, I don't do these Zooms every day, but let me just see. I say share content.
If I may come in, if you just, are you on laptop or mobile?
No, I'm on an iPad.
iPad, okay. So if you just move your mouse, the down bottom screen is not coming where it shows share, participants, chat box.
Participants, I can go to participants and
it's just
no, the share content I have, but when I press it, I have photos, iCloud Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, SharePoint, Google there, and then it has whiteboard.
Then you do have that option. So, it's not giving you a Word or PPT to be presented.
No, yeah, or you can, if you can do just screen. See, it says Google Drive, box, website, URL, bookmark, website. It's not giving me the option of sharing my screen.
Do you have Barindra's email ID? If you can quickly email it to him, and back end, meanwhile, he can do that and he can present it for you.
I apologize. I think I've sent it to Barindra. Let me just resend it to him again.
Barindra sir, will you be able to present?
Yes. Let me try. Just a minute. So have you sent me the PPT?
No, I have not. You want me to send it to you?
If you can, sir.
Okay, I'll just send it to you. I'm going to just pause this for a minute. Sorry about that. This disruption. Hang on just a minute. No, I don't think I can send it. Brenda, may I have your email, please, real quick?
It's B Brahmachari. So I'm typing it on the chat box for you.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, I would request our dear students and the audience to please bear with us.
So as I started getting into this hobby, making small aero models, etc. I realized that this is what I wanted to do as a career path, and eventually that led me to becoming a pilot. And And of course, as you start getting more experience, you learn how to fly. And then I've started flying for the airlines, and now of course I work for a corporate department. They have their own jets, and I fly them around globally, and it's the best career one can have. But like I said, like a dear principal madam had said, that classes 8th to 12th, where you decide what subjects you need to take. And in aviation, you do need to have maths and physics. But like I said, if students are very passionate about it, and they graduate in other than in the class 12, or take other than maths and physics, there is an option where you can take those exams in the open school, and that will allow you to pursue a career into aviation, or at least become a pilot. Now, the other thing is that you aviation is very wide. So we're just talking about being a pilot. Other than pilot, there are several options. Aviation splits up into, I would say, maybe 10 or 15 categories. You can go into the engineering aspect, which is the manufacturing. So you can pursue a job with them. What kind of qualifications? Well, you can join them either as an engineer, or you can join them as technician staff. You can join them as planning staff, logistics staff. Then you have the airline industry. The airline industry is again wide open. You in the airline industries, you have ground engineers, you have ground staff, and you have engineers that work on airplanes. And then of course piloting is what we were talking about. The other option you have is the infrastructure part, where you have the airport. You can be managers there. You can look into the day-to-day operations and logistics of the airport, like Airport Authority of India. And of course India is going through a huge cycle of privatizing airports. You have several opportunities open there. The other is air traffic controllers, which is again very in demand and very lucrative all over the world. That's another option you can have. And so the different fields or different opportunities in aviation are huge. Currently, I see a lot of students electing to get into aviation finance, because India is in its infant stages of starting finance companies that are going to be exclusive to financing aircraft. So if you're planning to go into finance, or looking at as let's say you have economics, or you're looking at finance, etc., or looking into equity,
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yeah.
I sent you a wrong ID. There was a small typing error. Can you please
Okay.
resend it? I've given the ID, sir, on the chat box. Could you
Okay,
please
I'm just going to
send
go
it
ahead.
again? Thank you so much, sir. Dear audience and my dear students, I request you to please wait for just 1 or 2 minutes. We are just going to play the PPT for you.
Okay, sorry about that. I have sent that. Hopefully, this should work. So, like I was saying, there are several opportunities that are there in aviation, and you just need to figure out what would ideally suit you. So, going back to that motivation, I was very motivated, and we discussed. I was very young, maybe about 13 or 14 years old, and I got into it, and I knew what had to be done. And likewise, I picked up the appropriate subjects that were required through schooling and college that got me into aviation. But things are very different now, and they're more practical. And you can go ahead and get into aviation and not have a science background, not exclusively science, really maths and physics background, and still pursue the piloting aspect. And of course, you have engineering we discussed about, and air traffic controllers would be the other option. Infrastructure, finance. So I mean, you can be related to aviation in any aspect, but that we've discussed. Right now, I'm going to put this presentation on, and Parindra is helping us with that. Sorry about the interruption. There it is. So we have something that we can talk about.
Barendra sir, did you get it?
I've sent the email to Barendra sir.
Also, Ajay sir, if I may ask you to try once more, I think the mirroring screen is the option. That's how you do it from iPad. I just Googled it, if you can check.
Yeah, so it has whiteboard. It should say share screen. I think if you
Is
give
there an option
me
called mirror, screen mirror, or
no, it's not. I think you have to hand the meeting over to me, and then I'd be able to share my screen.
Raj, if you can make him co-host?
Yeah, if you do that, that's the only way that I knew how to do it. So
Okay.
So I have received the PPT, but this is not the presentation file. This is just with key to it. It's not opening on my laptop.
it's not opening.
Raj, also meanwhile, if you can do him co-host.
No, it's opening. You should have all the slides there. That's what I've sent you.
No, sir, it's not opening on my laptop. That's the problem, sir.
Okay, let me try to resend it. Can you make me the co-host and I can do a screen share?
IT team, Raj or Rajiv, anyone there? So you are the co-host now.
Okay, let me try it now. No, I don't see the option of I really am sorry, but I'm trying to get this done. I practiced today for about 10 minutes and everything worked, but I guess it's not meant to be right now. So I'm just going to pause my video for a second, get up and just try something else. Oh. Is there any other way we can try to get this? Vrinder, is there any other way that I can send you that file?
I would request the IT team to suggest a way out. IT team, if you could help us to manage this situation, especially regarding this presentation.
Yeah. So I've sent you the anyway. So let me just quickly run down it. I mean, you all can have an overall view. So what I was saying is that, so the sorry, I've just muted my camera here. I hope you don't mind. I just want you to just listen up and just see what it's all about. So the aviation industry has gone through an extraordinary renewal process, and what they've done is the operating costs have been reduced. The unprofitable routes that were flying have been eliminated due to technologies, because we have more like satellite based navigation, where you can go from one point to the other direct, rather than navigating over the ground points, etc. The older airplanes that were having engines that were less fuel efficient have been eliminated or have been removed. Newer technologies with the aircraft engines being far more fuel efficient, they are there. Okay, I'm back on the video. And then the other thing is that the airlines basically are utilizing what we call is optimization scheduling. They've figured out what cities have the maximum amount of passenger loads. That's globally. So if you look at it, if you look at the growth that we are planning, approximately, India right now by 2024 will be the third largest uh, aviation growth sector in the world, falling just behind the United States and China. And it is also predicted by the year 2030 that India, with the current GDP, could exceed and be the largest aviation developing sector through the world. I mean, number one. And we're looking at approximate job opportunities in the next 10 years. People like me would, of course, be retiring. And because of this attrition, there's a demand for almost 2 lakh 214, but 2 lakhs and 14,000 pilots. Almost 2 lakhs and 15. Sorry about that. there's a alarm testing in the hotel, so it's I just have to wait. Just pause it for 1 minute, please. Thank you.
I would request the audience to wait once again. Uh, as Sir has already mentioned, there is a fire alarm testing going on at the hotel where Mr. Singh is residing at the moment. So please bear with us, dear audience. We are going to start just in a minute. Thank you. Dear audience, I believe you have a lot of questions to ask to Mr. Singh. I request you to be ready with your questions and type your questions on the chat box. As Sir finishes with his talk session, uh, you can ask Sir the questions by turning on your cameras. Or the questions that we get on YouTube, I will be able to ask Sir. So I request the audience to please be ready with the questions and type your questions on the chat. Thank you.
Okay, dear students, faculty members, extreme apologies here. We didn't realize that there was a scheduled alarm test, and so that's sorry about the disruption. So coming back to it, I know Barindra is there. I just heard him about the questions. I really would have liked to share this presentation with you because due to my not doing this all the time and my lack of knowledge of the Zoom, I am unable to send this to you. However, I'm open for questions, and we can go ahead and discuss the ideal way of pursuing it, these different sectors, whether you want to be an engineer, a pilot, you want to get into infrastructure management, etc. Oh, there something came up. Yes, so we do have it there. That's brilliant. Brenda, should I continue with the slide as you, and I can tell you which slide? Yeah, this first slide is fine. We can
Sure, sir.
we can
I
go to
think
the
the presentation is done by Garvimus. So you can instruct us which slide should we present.
yeah.
We
So
record.
so we should be idly on this careers in aviation. So this is the good slide. So ladies and gentlemen and dear students. So like I said, if you all can see on your screens, this is what we briefly talked about. We talked about having a career as a pilot in aviation maintenance. We talked about technicians, air traffic controllers, aircraft manufacturing engineers, quality control personnel, airport operations managers, air ticketing staff, flight stewards and stewardesses. And so these are just a few of them that you have the options for. Brinda, may we have the next slide, please? So if you look at this chart, this explains to you the amount of airplanes that are being delivered all across the world. And what our thing is, if you look at Asia Pacific, typically us, there are going to be almost 17,390 deliveries that are scheduled between now to the time of 2038. And you all might this might come as a very good surprise to you. Just in India itself, we're planning to increase our fleet from approximately currently we have let me see here, give me the right number. We're planning to increase our fleet by additional 37%. So almost 37% of those deliveries, that 17,400 deliveries, are projected to be coming to India itself between now and 2038. So the demand for crew members and the whole infrastructure is huge. So Brinda, can we go to the next slide, please? This is we were talking about how these economists look at the outlook growth projections for certain regions all over the world. So if you look at Asia, which should be Middle East, I think it's not there. You see India right there. If you see the projections of India, which is highlighted, it was in 2020, it was minus 4.5 growth. And of course, because of pandemic, we're a much larger nation with populace, and so it shows a negative 4.5. But if you look at a trend of 2021, it's a 6% GDP growth. So right now, after COVID, after the COVID period now, because of this Omicron, we've been affected again. The passenger load is up to almost 85% of pre-COVID during this time. So again, industry is picking up. In the next slide, please. We can skip this one. Next one. Yeah. This particular slide shows you. I mean, it is not relative really to the career path, but it just tells you the amount of people traveling all over the world. What it was in 18 versus 19. And you see in 19 it dropped a little bit. GDP growth to 2.7. This is globally. There were 280 million passengers that traveled in 19, 200 million. The record locator, of course, 82% versus 81%. So year of solid airline profitability, that's 9th year globally and 10th year. Now, so these things you're saying, well, in India, you hear news that the airline industry is not doing well, and they're not, they're not paying their employees, and we've had several airlines that have gone bankrupt for some reason or the other. But this is what you call is basically short-term planning on part of the industry operators and the industry insiders. However, the overall growth in India remains very robust, and I mean, as a crew member, as a pilot, the job security will be there, because of this rapid growth. So it's a good and a solid career to have. Then the next slide, maybe have, please. So I'm sure you all recognize, most of you have traveled, I'm sure gone to holidays. This is a signature picture about the Emirates Airlines, a huge successful story. And you're not limited to just India. You're limited, if you want a career path, you can go to any part in the world. I mean, there's shortage of pilot and crew and technical staff and engineers all over the world, whether it be Americas, Canada's, or Europe. It's really, really wide open. I see some questions coming up on the screen. I will answer it as soon as we're done. Brinda, may we have the next screen, please? Yeah. So this one tells you what I was just talking about. The origin and destination. So the air transport becoming more balanced and resilient. This tells you what the industry is doing globally, how it is saturated, how it's in its infancy, how it's going to be growing. To give you an idea, if you look at commercial aviation, is growing at a very fast rate, and how they've done it is by, especially in India, they're offering very cheap fares, almost as compared to railway tickets, and a lot of people who at one stage could not afford it are being able to afford this travel and the luxury of air travel, as to say it was about 2 decades ago. Brinda, we have next slide. The next one, please. This one, new personnel demand we were talking about globally. So if you look at Asia, just in Asia itself, it's saying it's going to need 837, that's 837,000 pilots in the Asia Pacific region. But out of that 837, just 215 plus are required in India only. So that is huge. I mean, that's huge demand, and we all foresee a huge shortage in the next 5 to 10 years. And again, good opportunity to capitalize on that. So if you look at the left side, commercial aviation globally at 2.86 million, I mean, 2.5 million, that's 2 crore or whatever that value is, has probably too many zeros for me. But look at the pilot required in North America, technicians required, cabin crew members. So it's all good. Next slide, please. So this is the projected aviation career demand in Asia Pacific market: 248,538 technicians, etc. Next slide, please. There we go. Now this is the fun part. So pilot career futures in commercial aviation, and we discussed the process. So basically, so I'll speak up for everybody who's online and hearing me, and there's several questions that are coming up, and I think the common question is, what all subjects does one need? And I will answer them once I look at the chat. And there we go. So to answer everybody, yes. So to get a license and certification to fly in India, you need to be 12th class. You must have 12th, and you must have sciences. That means you must have maths and physics. However, if you're in a non science in your +2, you humanities or arts, etc., you can still become a pilot, graduate, and you have to take these two exams in mathematics and physics through a system called as open school. I think your counselors or your career counselors or the esteemed staff who probably are more familiar how to obtain that would be able to guide you, where you can take mathematics and physics through an open school and submit those results and start your flying. And it is absolutely fine. And the regulatory company, the regulatory authority in India called the Director General Civil Aviation, it is an accepted norm. So a lot of people go ahead and are in humanities, have taken this career and did not have sciences, basically maths and physics, and they got their maths and physics exam done through the open school. Rest, I will address the questions going forward. If you look at the last slide, Brinda, can we go to the last slide, please? The one after this, or you don't have? That's the last one. I think that should be the last slide. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's good. That's good. So that's the last slide. Okay. People who are interested and want to be entrepreneurs, also in the aviation. Yeah, that's good. Who want to be entrepreneurs, talking about a little bit about economics and monies. India right now does not have per se a whole manufacturing sole aircraft manufacturing industry set up. I mean, several companies or several leading industrialists in India manufacture for major companies abroad, but we don't have a exclusive manufacturing facility in India. Mostly something like a Boeing that you have in America, or you have Embraer in South America, or you have a Bombardier, which is in Canada, or you have an Airbus consortium between Europe and the European Union. So in India, the business aspect of this starting manufacturing is huge, and a lot of companies in India are manufacturing small parts, whether it be some electrical parts or screens, etc. So that's also another opportunity in manufacturing where for entrepreneurs you want to set up industry and get into that. And is there another slide there, Brinda, or that's pretty much it? Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So it was. So sorry about this long disruption we had, and my lack of knowledge of the Zoom. But I will go ahead and take the questions. You can do it on live or via, I don't know, as you suggest. You can come on live and I'll answer them one by one. I think we have time.
Yes, we have time, sir.
Yeah. So no hurry. I'm sorry about the disruptions. So I will ask. You can ask me individually or online, and I will answer them, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your findings and opinions with us.
Thank you.
I'm quite sure that our students are greatly benefited by your words. Thanks a lot.
Thank
As
you.
expected, the chat box is flooded with so many questions from our students. So with your permission, sir, I'd like to go ahead and ask you some questions.
Certainly, please go ahead.
Like the first question is from Samriddho Bhomik. Samriddho, you are there on Zoom. So if you could unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes,
Samriddho,
yes, sir.
over to you. Start.
So actually, I wanted to ask if which method to get the to be a commercial aviator is better, like to enroll in a cadet program from a specific company, or the conventional method of giving the DGCA papers after class 12 and getting the CPL done from somewhere.
Okay, so it's a good question. I'm sure it'll be applicable to a lot of people. I have mentored a lot of ab initio pilots and who've gone through the DGCA method and have gone through a cadet program. Usually, in my experience, it all depends on economics, to be very honest. So if you feel, because there is a margin, there's a delta or difference of costing for almost about 15 to 20%. If you were to do it through the DGCA method, like say you would want to go to Americas or Philippines or somewhere abroad to fly, and then come back and get your licenses, DGCA licenses, it would be cheaper. But on the other hand, if you enrolled a cadet program and you go through them, there is a certainty, or there is definitely a better chance of you getting a job with the airline. To my knowledge, they don't offer a guaranteed job, but they do offer that if you go through our cadet program, and if and when there is a requirement in the airline, which there is going to be a tremendous amount, that they will give you preference because you've gone through the cadet program.
Yes, sir. Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to say that like if I've added if I've joined the cadet program and somehow the company is flooded, like so will I get my refund, or it's all in vain? Like how Jet Airways was flooded, it
Yeah.
also had a cadet program. So did they get the money?
No. So again, very unfortunate. That is another uncertainty. What I can say is, it depends when you did. So the chances if you join a cadet program now and the airline not being able to fulfill their part of the obligation, they have to give you the money back. Now, I know of certain facts where the students did not get the money, but they went ahead and got their licenses, and they got the specific training, which is called a type rating, to fly that particular airplane. They did get qualified. Unfortunately, they had to put the money out, and they had to give the money to Jet Airways, and they could not have a career, and they had no money coming in as far as the job numeration is concerned. So it is, yes, some students did get the money back, and also, yes, some students did not get their money back. That is another danger. But again, it was the time. Invariably or by and large, companies don't do that. So the existing companies that have a program would be Indigo. There's Go Air has started now. SpiceJet has been doing it for a long time. And of course, now you have Air India, which has been acquired, as you all know, which is very good for all of us, is being acquired by Tata Sons. So I personally, if I was to advise, I'm always of the opinion that I would like to go ahead and do it on my own, and then take a chance and apply to the airlines. Or maybe you can join them at a cadet or what you call as a type rating program, where you join the airline and say, hey, listen, I'll do the special training for the airplane that you fly through your company, and then they'll give you a job offer, or like an MOU, memorandum of understanding, that on completion or successful completion, that they will give you the opportunity to interview, and if you meet the requirement, you should be able to join them. Does that answer your question there?
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
That brings us to my next question. There are a number of students watching this session who are from the commerce and humanities section, and they are very passionate about joining the aviation industry. So,
Yeah.
what aviation courses can be pursued after 12th commerce or humanities?
Oh, so commerce. So then what you have to do is, so if they're not interested in the piloting aspect, if they're not interested in the piloting aspect of this aviation, you have aviation business administration. You have aviation sciences again, where you can actually join the management or be part of the management of the airports. As you know, India is going through a revolution now. We're building so many airports all over India, and they're all privatized. And whether it's Tata's or Adani's or GVK or GMR, all over. So they are looking for talent who are specific to airport operations. So in your field, you can pursue do a bachelor's in business administration, which is again a 3-year course. I'm not sure what all colleges and universities are offering that course, but it is available by a few colleges. And you can take special courses from companies, from schools abroad that specify this. You can do this online program, but I do believe that you have to go onto campus for a year or maybe 2 years for your final year, and they will give you a accredited bachelor's degree in aviation administration, and that opens you up with infrastructure managing, airport management, operations, logistics that we talked about. So needn't be piloting. I mean, or if you're interested in what you call finance, you can get into the financial aspect of aircraft lease, aircraft management, so on and so forth.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from a student of class 12. He's writing that he is interested to pursue aeronautical engineering after class 12 standard.
Yeah.
If you could throw some light into the different prospects of the subject, it would be very beneficial for him.
Yeah. Okay. So aeronautical engineering is okay. It's whether he does it in India or does it abroad. Abroad is obviously a 4-year program. Aeronautical engineering, there are several aspects he can get into. Firstly, is the initial is what he would want to do. Basically, if you're an aeronautical engineer, you are going to be specific to manufacturing companies, whether it be civilian or defense. Prospects are tremendous. I mean, in India, India itself, to the best of my knowledge, is supplying almost 18 to 20% of parts for manufacturers all over the world, whether it's Boeing, Airbus, Bombardier, or British Aerospace, and defense, whether it's Lockheed Martin or whether it's the General Dynamics, etc. So once you're an aeronautical engineer, your scope is tremendous. I mean, in the next decade or so, if you do well and you graduate, you can join mostly the manufacturer or the ancillaries that manufacture parts. Tata's is huge. They have a huge setup, and they make very what you call important components for all these manufacturers. And the schooling part is you must apply. I don't know who all are offering the aeronautical engineering here in India, to the best of my knowledge, but that you'll have to do, and maybe your counselor or your principal, or I don't know if you have some sort of a mentoring team in your class 12, can help you with your college applications. What best school or what rating you have in India. I'm not aware, but in America you have several colleges, or in the UK, that are offering these courses, and the opportunity is tremendous. I mean, you can stay in India and have a excellent career excellent career. And then once you have that background, you can also pursue it into business administration. I mean, you needn't stay on the science part and, you know, be just an aeronautical engineer. You can have that as a qualification and further get your master's in business administration, and then, you know, be with the top guy, one of the CEOs of these companies. I mean, it's scope is huge.
Thanks a lot, sir. Moving on to the next question, and this would be the last question for the session. Among the many jobs that the aviation sector provides, commercial pilot training is the most glamorous one, as well as the most rewarding one. Though commercial pilot training is very costly, once finished, this course will ensure that you land a well-rewarding job. What advice would you like to give to the students who aspire to become commercial pilots in their future?
So, my, you know, a lot of people have different school of thought on this. A piloting job is, I mean, anybody can do it, but I seriously think you have to be very, very passionate about it. Don't look at the numeration part. The numeration part is good. It's great. I mean, the monies that you get is good. However, it will still not be the same if you are if you've done like a aeronautical engineering with a MBA in finance. You know, you'll be the pioneer. A pilot will always be a pilot. So firstly, having said that, you must be passionate about it. It's not like, oh, I want to become a pilot because it pays so much money. That's not how you want to pursue it. You want to pursue it that because you love traveling, you like different countries, you know, you want to meet different kind of people, and the exposure and the learning you get when you travel, I mean, you can't do it anywhere in the world. So my advice would be, don't look at the numeration part of it or the money part of it. Look at it that I really, really want to do it because it's not only glamorous, it's very, very glamorous. It's what you want to do. Like I said earlier on, as a hobby when I started, I tell my son and people, you know, I mentor, that I have not worked a day in my life for the last 30 years because I enjoy it so much. And I go out and every day is so beautiful. You know, you'll be flying and I mean, it's really, really nice. You get to travel to nice places. And so that would be my advice. Don't look at it. You have to be passionate about it, that you want to fly and whatever it takes. And then everything will fall in place and you'll excel.
With this, we have come to the end of today's program. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion. Sir, we would be grateful if you kindly share how our students can contact you or be in touch with you if they need any suggestions or
certainly
any guidance.
Yeah, you have my coordinates. I'd be more than happy. Just share with them my email and my telephone number. I'm available 24/7. They can chat with me, they can do WhatsApp, they can email me, and I will give them all the links and references and all the help that is required.
Thank you so much.
Madam Principal, faculty, thank you very much. Wish you all luck. Stay safe.
Thank you so much, sir. Now
Thank
I request Shruti Chaki from St. Augustine State School, Shamnagar, to please come forward for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Shruti Chaki, the Vice Captain of St. Augustine Day School, Shamnagar. Well, this has been such a blessing for all of us to attend your session, sir. Flight is one of the greatest thrill, and your words stand testimony to it. On the behalf of my school, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our guest speaker, Captain Ajay Singh, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Your thoughts have enlightened us, and our minds have shown us a new path. My gratitude to all the speakers for gracing the occasion and sharing their opinions today. A special mention to our respected principals, Reverend Rodney Borneo, sir, and Juma Biswas, ma'am, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as the pillars of strength. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our loving teachers for their untiring efforts. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Over to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we can call it a day. We all may log off now. Thank you so much, sir, for being present today.
Thank you, Brinda. All the best. Stay safe, everybody.
so much.
Thank you.